Hey YouTube, it's Dr. Wendy Walsh. You are in the studio of KFI AM 640 Radio in Los Angeles, an iHeart radio station. We're about to go live. The subject is why thinking about your ex can be good for you. KFI AM 640. You have Dr. Wendy Walsh with you. This is a Dr. Wendy Walsh show. I'd like to welcome my YouTube audience. If you'd like to see the studio and us and what we're doing, Kayla, you should pop your head in here too at one point. Oh, here she comes, here she comes, here she comes. You can actually see producer Kayla. Come on onto my YouTube. The handle everywhere, there she is. The handle everywhere is at Dr. Wendy Walsh. Okay, so usually you would think that thinking about your ex is not healthy for your current relationship, right? Kayla, you look like shocked.
I only think about mine when I need to throw up really quickly.
Oh, okay. I remember one time going on a date too soon after a breakup, and therefore I spent the whole date, I'm embarrassed to think of it, just talking about my ex and how mad I was at my ex and how upset. And like, he called me, the guy called me the next day. He's like, I don't think you're ready to date. Really, you're not.
I was going to ask if you got a second date after that.
No second date after that. Well, here's what we do know. Wallowing in pain about your ex, not good. Complaining about your ex, not good. Especially if you put it in your profile. Like, don't be let XYZ, like my ex, like implying, like I've already been through all this badness. One research study from 2012 found that if you have increased longing for recent ex-partners, you're more likely to experience a decline in your current relationship. So basically, this is science telling you, resolve your feelings first, get over it, go see a therapist, work through it, right? The other thing that causes a decline in current relationships is keeping in touch with your ex. Not good. It's threatening. Now, I hear people all the time, but we're just friends now. They should understand. We're just friends. They don't understand. They won't understand. It's not a good idea to be friends with your ex, I think. Well, exception. Okay, I just want to say this. I do know many happily remarried, divorced couples who all get together for the kids at certain things. And that makes sense. The more adults who are involved in kids' lives and all that, that makes sense.
But if there's no kids, it makes no sense.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree.
No, I think it's a threat. I think it's a threat to the relationship. However, there are a couple times when thinking about your ex can actually be good. A study published in the European Journal of Social Psychology from one of my favorite researchers at the University of Kansas, and that would be, oh my gosh, Gillat is his last name, Omri Gillat. Here's what he discovered. So they asked people in the study to think about their past relationship and focus on nostalgic memories, all the good times that they had, which is not a bad thing to do because if you're only thinking bad, it's hard. Then they asked them how satisfied they were with their current relationship and how motivated they are to stay in their current relationship. And guess what they found? That if you reflected on the positive memories with your ex, it actually improved your feelings for your partner. Want to know why?
Why?
It reminds you that relationships are good for you. It reminds you that relationships are positive. They're a nice thing in your life. It actually makes you go, yeah, that was good. There were good moments, but now I have a lot of good moments because I'm in a new relationship. Because if you think my ex is bad, my life was bad, our relationship was bad, everything was bad, why am I with someone else? Why am I risking this, right?
I guess, but wasn't the good times make you want to go back to that person and have more good times with that person?
No, not wallowing in longing, just going back. You know what I say to my kids all the time? When they do something I love, they're not kids anymore, okay? They're 19 and 24, but they'll do or say something and I'll say, that is just like your daddy used to do. Now I remember why I fell in love with him.
That's sweet.
Yeah, because half of them is him, right?
And he's no threat whatsoever to our Julio.
No.
So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
But
not
that way.
at all. Yeah, it's nice. Okay, so here's the other time when it's okay to think about your ex. Same group of researchers investigated a concept called self-growth. So this time they asked people to think back about their previous relationship, but then they asked them one other question. And the question was, how much do you think you've grown now, like from that time? And when they put them in the headspace of, Well, that relationship was a learning opportunity. I wasn't the same person then. I probably wouldn't make the same mistake. The more people felt that they had grown considerably since that previous bad relationship, the more they liked their current relationship. Because you know what? They liked themselves in it. They realized they were a new person. Now, there's one other thing that research says you should do. Not about your ex at this point. It's about your current relationship. And I'll tell you, Julio and I do this all the time. Not because the science says so. He's just romantic and I'm not. Sorry. He's teaching me how to be more romantic is what it is. And what it is, well, the researchers call it, we practice romantic nostalgia. So he will play songs from playlists that he made me in the first few weeks when we were dating. He will mention like, oh, we'll drive past a restaurant. Remember when we had coffee there for the first time and I barely knew you? And I'm like, yeah, and you were so nervous and you were getting up and down and up and down. He had so much energy. On our first coffee date, I was like worried he had ants in his pants. This guy just kept going, well, because it was during COVID and you had to go order from the bar inside and put your mask on and then come outside and sit in the wind. And he kept saying, let me check on the food, let me check on the food. And he kept jumping up and down. And I'm like, sit down, dude.
Did he ever explain why he was so antsy on your first date?
Yes, because he was so nervous.
Oh, he loved you.
He was trying to create a good impression.
I love that.
So research shows that when people recall past experiences with their partner, it's associated with greater relationship commitment, greater relationship satisfaction, and more closeness. So because I've read this research, I'm trying to get out of my analytic, boring head, and I'm trying to be more romantic. I'm trying to be more nostalgic. So it's hard.
It's hard for the CEO.
I know. It's hard. That's my nickname, CEO.
Not very romantic.
That's
Dr.
terrible.
Wendy.
So if you are one of those people who, like me, who's a CEO and an analytic, I want you to take some time to think back to the early stages of your relationship, where you went, and go back and revisit these things. There are ways that you can kind of relive the nostalgia. We tell stories of things that we said at certain times, like that created inside jokes. We go back to the same places where we met. And spend time together. So that is one of the best things you can do for your relationship. Now let's go back to ex and boundaries, because I know there are people out there, there are plenty of them, who say, but my ex and I are friends. What's so wrong with that? We had a good relationship, we had a compatible, healthy breakup, and now we are just good friends. When I hear that, I hear an avoidant attachment style. Because the truth is, if you have intimacy, if you have that close emotional connection with somebody, then you're eventually going to have a lot of pain when you separate. It's hard, right? So maybe you're lucky and you have an avoidant attachment style. Jamie, how are we doing on the time? I am watching it, that clock. Okay, the update is not here yet?
For the press conference.
Oh, I was waiting for.
So we have about 3
minutes
seconds where you can give us some more juice.
Jamie and I are just getting our sea legs together as we're walking down this rocky ship. And so Jamie doesn't know that I go off on tangents, and then we get a call from the program director saying, why is she going on so long? Right? So I need a 3-minute, a 2-minute, and a 1-minute in my ear. Okay, you got me now. Kayla, have you been friends with any ex at all?
I'm actually friends with all my exes except for the one I got a restraining order against. And not friends, but we're cordial.
It's my time, just like that. Okay. Restraining order. We need to revisit that. You are listening to the Dr. Wendy Walsh Show on KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Right now, let's go to what you've been waiting for, the 24-hour KFI newsroom, and Andrew Caravello.
At least 10 people have been shot in
You used to learn to talk in my ear on the air all the time.
last night in Monterey Park.
You're doing great, Jay,
Yeah.
but next time just let her know in her ear, not on the air.
Got you.
Yeah.
We do.
All I need to hear is a 3-minute, 2-minute, 1, and then if I keep going too long after the 1, just go wrap it up.
Gotcha. Thank you for
Okay,
that.
thanks.
Trying to get the trending news and the current news on and you and Andrew all at the same time. So
It's a lot.
It's a lot right now for my first time.
It is a lot. It's a lot. Okay.
Last night's shooting.
So
All
we
right,
don't know if
so-
we're going to the press conference now or not.
Over
Oh, YouTube. Hi, I forgot about you. Enjoy this video if you're watching later. I forgot we're on a news break. You see, we had actually a big tragedy in LA and there was a shooting. And so we've got a new guy in the control room. We've got Andrew in the thing. Anyway, and we might be going to press conference live, but we won't be putting that on YouTube. Anyway, when we come back, we're going to be talking about the secret to lasting love. We'll talk soon. Bye.
This is not a random